Joe is out, Kamala is in. And if you've been watching my page for a short period of time, you would have known 5 months ago that I predicted this was going to happen. Now, listen to my other predictions because, yeah, it's getting really interesting. Stay tuned. Howdy folks, DaveMan here again, Rollman Revolution. Now, I tried to record something out at the beach today, but my beach day was interrupted by my local sheriff's office giving me a ticket for $75 to be parked into a space that I park in every once in a while to go across the street to get a few things, and then I come back so I don't have to relocate my car 3 times, so I was using it as a convenience. And I do this pretty much on the regular, but for whatever reason, I did not time it right, and he cited me for parking in a spot that nobody ever parks in. So I was a little bummed out, lost my train of thought while I was out there, was probably screaming on high heaven to, well, let's not relive what it was I had to go through. But upon getting home, getting settled, and then, pretty much setting up myself for the evening, I got a text message from someone that Joe Biden announced that he pulled out of the race. And I was surprised to hear that, considering the fact that only just about a week or so ago it looked like the trajectory for Joe was going to be till November 5th. But as you and I, and as a voter basically sitting in the background watching this clown show unveil itself, it's amazing to me. Now again, I don't care what side of the football you're going to stand on. This video is not about telling you which way to go. Well, I may sneak it in there, but either way, the purpose is that if you are a person who identifies as Democrat and has voted in the last elections for your Democrat candidate, I just want to know if you feel as a Democrat that you had a say-so in whoever your choice was this go around. Because think about it. Joe Biden was the presumptive nominee, right? Because he was the president we had for the last 4 years. So usually nobody, unless the guy is really ill or he's doing such a poor job, which in this case it's both, which makes no sense, but usually they will become the automatic nominee. But for whatever reason, he became the automatic nominee, but at the convention, or not the convention, as the time went on over the last few months, you started to see the media kind of setting you up for something. And then the debate happened, and America knew everything. A week and a half goes by, and then, or a couple weeks go by, and then we get Trump getting shot at. And then now we get Joe Biden quitting, stepping down, and he, of course, said he gives his full support for Kamala Harris. Now, anybody who doesn't watch this on the regular, which I don't recommend that you do that unless this is your area of study, because this will definitely unhinge you when you discover how many loops and loops and loops you go over. This is why people are so divided in this country, and they don't even realize this. It's because you're so dug in on the groups that you're in. And I've done it too, and I'm still doing it. But what I'm starting to notice as I do this, I recognize where I should go and how far I should go. How much do I really, really know? And that has been my thesis over the last couple decades, is that it's not about what you believe, it's why you believe it. How did you come to the conclusions you have? How did we get here? The only way our country gets to a point that it is when nobody really knows what's going on and nobody knows what's talking about. It's called pure destabilization of a nation. And we're at that point. But people realize now, I think most people realize now, that this shit is on their doorstep. This is not about Democrat or Republican anymore. It has nothing to do with any of that, okay? It has to do with whether or not the person you're putting into office, forget the labels, is that person going to look out for you? Are they looking out for you? And that means, are they protecting the language, the borders, the culture? And that includes a variety of different subjects within those confines. But is that person, he or she, doing that? And if they're not, this is an honest assessment that you have to give, and you have to look at the last 3 years, or the last 4 years, or the last 8 years, whenever this person served. Look at their record. Let their record do the talking for you. Stop listening to what other people are telling you what to think. This has become the problem in every attitude. I'm not telling you to listen to me. Please do not listen to me. I like you to listen because I want to steer you in the right direction, but it's up to you to discover it for yourself. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm just telling you what I know and what I have discovered. And I suggest you do the same, because once you come to that same conclusion, we all do, Truth does not have to be sold to anyone. You're going to hear that repeated on this channel multiple times over. Truth never has to be sold. So if you go on earnestly looking for the truth, you will find it. But you're not going to like what you discover. And many people have done that. My prediction 4 months ago was that Joe Biden eventually is going to run out. There's no way that he can do a cognitive debate. I mean, look, I watched the 2019 debates over again. I watched Joe Biden speak throughout 2020, 2021. In my opinion, Joe Biden was never the person he was in 2019 like he was in the latter part of 2015 when he was leaving office with Barack Obama. From that time period, from 2016 to 2020, somewhere in that neighborhood, Joe Biden, he had some brain surgeries, I know he had, but something changed in him. He was never the same person. But the media did a very, very good job of trying to cover all of that up and kept telling everybody. They went as far as telling these stupid little coiny jokes about how, Joe Biden still wiggles, whatchamacallit's cheeks, and, how they're still lovey-dovey and all this other stuff to try to make him seem more real because they knew that this candidate was falling off. Look, you got to start to honestly assess it. This is not picking on a person. You look at that man and you look at Donald Trump. I'm not saying that you can go, it's no joke. But listen, cognitively, if you have the choice to pick one or the other in the sense of making a leadership choice, there's no question. Now Kamala comes in. Look at her record. There I say again, go back to the records of these people, all right, and see what they did. What I am upset for Democrats in this whole situation is you never really got a choice to pick which candidate you wanted to put up against Donald Trump or whomever the candidate would be. And that's not what democracy is. You have all of these people in Congress, especially Democrats, that run on the platform of they're the ones to save democracy. Well, they took democracy out of your hands. They told you Joe Biden is the one you're going to get, and then they yanked him, put Kamala in, and she's not going to be the one either. Wait till they get to the convention. It's the delegates, the super delegates that are going to decide. It's not Kamala. She's got to try to sell herself to say that she can do this. But make no mistake about it, they are working hardcore to try to find the next person. Because I believe personally that the Democrats have submitted on this whole thing. They know that they're not going to win in this presidential election. They know they cannot do it. And they're not going to waste anything, money, resources doing it. They're going to try, but they're not going to go full on Monty like they did last time. Because they're going to focus on the Senate and the House of Representatives. They're going to try to do what they can in the states to keep destabilizing things at the local and state level, which is why you have to get involved and put eyes and ears on the ground, because that's where they know the only leverage they have left can come from, is from the Senate and control of the House of Representatives. Like the Democrats, like the Republicans before them, like Mike No Balls Johnson, who doesn't know how to use the power of the purse to harness leverage against his opposition. The Democrats, on the other hand, know how to use that, and that's what they're going to be working towards. They're going to try to see if they can give Hakeem Jeffries a majority in the House, to try to see if they can stump Trump up and not provide him with anything he needs to do the job that he says he's going to do. And what I want Democrats to realize is that your party, again, this is not picking on you because I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm a nobody when it comes to this. I'm a person who looks at things as the individual. I hate the party label. I literally hate the party label because no person can be just shoved in one box. It doesn't work like that. I am what they call a just right of center, okay? By all accounts, by the way that the scale used to be, I was more left of center. I was moderately, but I was liberal on so many social issues, but because the Democrat Party and these parties in general have gone way off the reservation in so many issues, they've abandoned the base that actually made them strong in the first place. And now they're just using race and labels to gain political points. The whole purpose of the labels is to divide and conquer, because they can't win elections on merits, on the ideas that they have, because there's no ideas being presented. That's been the argument of Donald Trump and his campaign. It's like, what is your plan? Well, look, we heard all of and you keep saying I'm at this and I'm at that, but what is your plan? What is it you're going to do? And they don't have any answer for that. And that should concern every American on this planet. It's like, look, if your president or the people that say that they got your back are the ones that they're promoting for you to vote for, if those people have no idea really what it is that they're doing and have no plan of attack on how to do this, well, that's the reason why the place looks the way that it does now. You were just letting people run the gambit up in D.C. Nobody seems to be reining any of this stuff in. You got Steve Bannon, who goes to jail, Navarro that goes to jail. Meanwhile, you have Merrick Garland, who is part of this whole corruption, walking around. Mayorkas walking around. Mayorkas is the head of Secret Service. The buck stops with him with Secret Service. Do you think he's investigating or cares anything about the assassination attempt that just happened in Pennsylvania last week? Of course not. Nobody's lifting a finger. Because again, we're dealing with an entirely corrupt manifestation. They will go to any length at this point to take out Trump by any means necessary. They don't believe that they're going to be able to beat him anymore, which is why they're restructuring, I think, all of their funds. You're going to start seeing the campaigns going against Republicans and what you would call in the local districts. I believe you're going to see the Senate races and the House of Representative races become a little bit more fine-tuned. But make no mistake about it, the Democrat Party, as you know it, is gone. They are fighting internally right now. You have a handful of people. AOC just came out the other day saying, look, nobody else is saying it, so she's going to say it. She says, there is nobody inside that caucus, inside that convention, that are all pushing for Kamala. And if you think that, she said, you would be sorely mistaken, because it's a game that they're being played. They're saying all this out in the media. They're having the media push all of that. Yeah, they support this. Meanwhile, they're changing the play behind your back. They're going to call an audible at the line and not tell you about it. And these are the people that say that Republicans are stealing democracy. It's just so silly. It's like everybody is just not in clown show world. Everybody's hanging out in clown show world. And they don't think that any of us are paying attention. None of this stuff that they're doing makes sense. I mean, literally everybody has lost their mind, in my opinion, because the nonsense they are forcing out and trying to get people to believe, you have to be stupid to believe it. You have to be a very low IQ person to believe the stories and the nonsense that they are spewing out now. Look, anybody who's been watching this for any length of time, watching this fiasco, as I do, play out, could have told you that Joe wasn't going to make it. Here's the big question. He has been uncognitive. He hasn't had these cognitive faculties for a very, very long time. So who's been running the shop? And here's the other thing. He has to resign. Because if he's not capable to do his job to run for the next election, he ain't capable of doing his job now. Right? Give Kamala 4 months, all right, as the president. And then I can guarantee you, if it looks really bad, they're going to throw all of the shit on her so that she's the dumb candidate. She's the one that's the patsy. She's the one that they can easily get rid of. You know, you blame her for all of the shit, spend a fortune just before she goes out, put Trump in a real bad situation, and then just blame it on good old Kamala. It's very possible. There's 100 different things to Sunday that they could pull on this, but I want people to understand really kind of what's going on behind the scenes. What the media is presenting to you is one thing, but the backstabbing, lying, cheating, manipulation that's going on within the Democrat Party. See, usually on policy, that's why Democrats win all the time, is they stick together. Even if the person's a loony bin, they'll try to stick together because that other person will stay on their end next time and help vote, for legislation that they're trying to get passed. So they kind of stick together, whereas the Republicans, they don't. And that's because you don't really have a unified party. You have a group of neocons in there, a group of ultra-right-wingers that just want to serve the special interest, and then you got some MAGA in there, and then you got some that are middle of the line. They could be Democrats one day, they could be Republicans the next. You don't really have any coalition, which is why they always look like they're disheveled and can't get anything together. But look, I've always said on this program, there is no trust amongst thieves, liars, and manipulators. I mean, think about it. If you went to work every single day knowing that the person that's right next to you at the desk just got on the phone and lied to 2 other of his constituents or 2 of his other people just because it doesn't serve him to tell the truth to that person now, and then later manipulates it even further and keeps doing this and keeps doing this. Let me ask you a question. Would you trust that person? Would you be okay? Would you think that person honestly would have your back if push came to shove? They're obviously making lies and manipulations to their own party, their own friends, their own people within there. And you see this stuff going on all the time within Washington, D.C., but yet nobody ever seems to think that these are still human beings. They're still human beings, but now these human beings have a lot to lose because the house of cards is falling. There is no safety net anymore. That's why they're doing everything they can to try to keep Trump out. I want people to understand there's a reason why they're doing this. Nobody goes after him to shoot somebody. Oh, because he's a Nazi. Give me a break. That's not what he is. So anybody who thinks that is just silly and stupid. But no, they're going to go after him, right? They're not going after Joe. They're not going after Kamala. Why? They're not a threat to anything. Those people are more of the same status quo, dirty politician you've seen growing up. They're the same. They're all the same. Trump is the only one that's different. But the media has sold everybody on the fact that he's different for this reason. He's a misogynist, and he's a this, and he's a woman hater, and he's got 5 court cases. He just breaks the law left and right. All 5 of those cases are bullshit. All 2 of the impeachments, bullshit. The entire Russia hoax, bullshit. All the way up into an assassination. I mean, what does this person have to do? Okay? You got to think about this. I still don't understand. Look, it's a clown show. We're all playing a script here. We're all doing the roles, but it can get inherently worse if we make the wrong decisions on the choose your own adventure path here. We can make things inherently worse. And the decisions that this administration has made has ultimately caused my life to go down the spiraling crap hole. So, I mean, I'm sure it's done it to millions of Americans, because when you disrupt the apple cart, the income, health care, you destroy all of that. People who are either reliant on, you can destroy a whole society in a very, very short period of time. And just look at what has happened in 3.5 years' time. This world is so turned upside down. We're in the middle of wars. We can't afford a thing. Everybody is scraping by to get by. And yet we're still arguing about what a woman is. I mean, like, what the hell? Seriously? No. The choice we have in front of us is very, very simple, in my opinion. But it's going to take everything everybody has. It's just no more argument. Like I said, I'm so tired of talking about this. Look, I got some new stuff coming up here, y'alls, that has to do with stuff outside the realm of politics. I want to talk about the things that, kind of really excite me, because there's a lot more vastness to my knowledge other than talking about this, but this is the stuff that can affect us in the immediate. And if we don't get our frickin' house in order really soon, it ain't gonna matter what all this other stuff that I talk about, because they ain't gonna be able to have free speech to talk about it anywhere. Now, we gotta wake up to this whole thing. I just want those who identify as Democrats out there to just really think about how the Democrat Party has treated you, okay? I'm not saying join the Republican Party or join another party. I'm not saying to do that at all, but I'm just saying, look, they mistreated you, okay? I would never do that, okay? You have to listen to people and their problems. You have to listen to people and what it is that they're doing. You have to listen to people and what it is that they're trying to achieve on the regular. And if those people don't feel like they're being heard, don't feel like they're just another number, well, they're going to go someplace else. And that's why I'm saying the Democrat Party has abandoned their base. The only ones that are still hanging on to them are the ones that are afraid that they may lose the gifts and benefits that are still being given. That, if I vote for Donald Trump, he's going to take away my food stamps, he's going to take away this. None of this stuff is going to happen. And any of this stuff look, we need to get control over our finances, but we're not going to let anybody starve in this country. If you stop sending all this money over to Ukraine, you stop spending all these money on this endless wars, you stop allowing all this illegal bullshit to come into the country, I can guarantee you there will be enough to go around to help every man, woman, and child who's a legal citizen in the United States if they need it. We just don't do that. We don't take care of the people we don't take care of the people who made this country great in the first place. Do you know, one definition that I love more than anything is, what is a leader? Now, there's 1,000 different definitions that you get from 1,000 different people, but the one definition that I believe covers it better than anything, and it's exactly what I believe our Donald J. Trump. It's everything I believe Donald J. Trump stood for and still does. Okay, a true leader, in my opinion, is a person who takes care of and supports the people within their charge. They're not in charge of them. No, they're responsible for taking care of the people within their charge. That's what a true leader is. So we have a lot of stuff that we have to take care of. There's a lot of things that you and I, as American citizens, can do. But together, we can do together to try to stop this divide. That's where the country loses every single time. We believe the stories they tell us we should believe, and we have to stop doing that. If you yourself don't really know a certain issue, don't take the person's talking head on the TV's word for it. Go look into it yourself. You got to look past the first page on Google. Okay? You got to stop listening to things in Facebook. Facebook puts up all the time that, this is false information. And then you look at their fact check and it's just some bogus, stupid site that has nothing to do with it. Facebook is being controlled by something. I don't know what it is, but they're not accurate. So you know what truth is when you see it, when you hear it. Okay, everybody does. You don't have to sell truth to anybody, like I said. So you need to explore past the first page. You need to start talking to people that maybe don't agree with you and see why. Because you need to know why you believe what you do. Maybe you don't know. Maybe you just started listening to somebody else, and then all of a sudden you formed your opinions based upon that. Most of us don't know how those opinions got there specifically, but you say, well, I've always been kind of like this. Well, that's only because the frame of reference that you may have had was only kind of like this. Imagine the more information that you can put in your toolbox will give you a better picture of the landscape that you're trying to assess. That's why it's very, very valuable that journalists get as much information as they can about any particular story, because you want to present it to the people in the most proper and authentic way you can. But that's not what happens. So you get screwed because you're fighting me and I'm fighting you over stuff that doesn't really exist. We are now living in 2024. The race from today to November 5th is going to be the most craziest spectacle of crap you have ever seen in your life. I never thought in my entire lifetime that I would see a president get assassinated or shot at. And now they're talking about poisonings and others. Look, this is serious business. Like I said in a previous video, does anybody know that Mexico just recently had an election? First female president. But 30 plus candidates were assassinated during this election cycle. 30. How would you like to live in a country where 30 of the people that say, yeah, I want to run for office, get killed? Then nobody of value would ever run for office. But yet, you have people going on TikTok saying that, it's too bad they missed. Are you kidding me? We need to wake up. This type of thinking is just, it's really crazy because, again, we're better than this. America is not this divided. It's just not. I just believe that people are too busy, just a hamster on the wheel, they're caught on it, and they're catching every 5 second here, 10 second there, 20 minute there that they can. They're trying to piece it all together, and then you got the one friend that tries to fills in the blanks for you, and you just assume it to be true. I've done it to other people. I've been responsible for spreading bullshit myself. That's why I check myself before I wreck myself all the time now. I've got to make sure that I know what it is I'm talking about. And if I don't know what it is I'm talking about, I'll tell you, hey, look, this is my opinion. This is what I think. This is what I think is going to happen, because I don't want people to assume anything. You should never assume that the person sitting in front of you is ever telling you the truth. I wish we lived in a world like that. I really do. But you can't. It's sad that we live like that. But I believe that the American people are going to be stronger, better, faster because of all of this. That does not negate the fact that this is a clown show that is scripted. Everything, it's like, how do you see this far out? Like, how is it that I can kind of predict within some reason what's going to happen next? Are the patterns that obvious to some people? I just think that when you've watched something for any length of time, it's kind of like a person who juggles. They don't really think about juggling anymore. They can just do it, right? A person plays piano for years and years. You just get so good at it that you don't even think about where your hands are going. They just muscle move it. It just moves. And I think education, especially if you're passionate about something, if you're a scientist or an engineer or something, you're going to drive towards that, and you're going to find the avenues that other people aren't, because there's so many fakes out there. There's so many fake people out there that are trying to give you the truth. And it's amazing. I'm blown away by how they think that they're really doing a good job. Like, I turn on MSNBC and I get really upset because I don't see how anybody can believe any of that. It's really hard for me to swallow. It's like, this is news? Like, you start in the morning with, Potato Head and Mika. And then you just go down the line throughout the day. Joanne Reed with the Donald Trump wig on. Blonde-haired black woman. I mean, seriously. And then all she does all day long on her show is just push hate out. If you just listen to her, everything is racist. Donald Trump is this. It's always about describing something. It's never about any solutions to the problem. It's just pointing out what she doesn't like about other people. And that's kind of like what the show is. But it's like these media people, they set the agenda and then all the other networks just repeat it all day long. So how are you supposed to make an honest assessment about anything when you have 93% of everything you read, watch, and listen to constantly repeating the bullshit narrative on the regular? How are you supposed to do that? You're not. But didn't we used to listen to family? Didn't we used to listen to the people closest to us a little bit before? It's amazing. Like, I have offered so much advice to people in my immediate that don't take it. And they think it's because I'm either stupid or you don't know any better. And it's like, You honestly think I'd lie to you? The people I care about, I would lie to. It's shocking. It shocks me. The people that you love the most are the ones that are the hardest sometimes to get through to. But you got to continue to keep doing your best to try to show people the way. Look, there are so many of us out here right now that have absolutely zero damn reason for fighting. None. The world has shit on you 1,000 ways to Sunday, and it's still asking for more. It still wants more. It still wants more from you. The only thing I can say is that I'll give you what I got. I'm going to show you the truth to the day I die. If you don't like me because I'm saying something that upsets you, I apologize, but just move on. Slide to the right and go to the next person. Because again, the only way we're ever going to agree is if we have dialogue. I may be wrong on some of these things. I'm willing to admit that, but we're never going to get at it. We're never going to get it right if we don't start living in the reality and start talking about things that are true. And so, I mean, we're looking at this announcement today. The Democrat Party and their base never really had a choice on who their candidate was. This is the weirdest election cycle I have ever seen. So now at the convention, they're going to select some people. It could be a Hillary, it could be a Michelle, it could be a Gavin Newsom. Who knows? It could be The Rock, it could be Oprah. There's no way to know. But here's the thing, you never had a choice in it. Democracy. They're all about democracy, except when they have the iron fist and glove on. Then they rule with power. I'm not your enemy. Your neighbor is not your enemy. Americans are good people. Overall, the American people are good people. They're just trying to get the basics taken care of. Most of us don't want too much. We just want the basics so that we can go about doing our thing on a regular basis, right? You're not asking for a 5-bedroom apartment or a 5-bedroom house mansion with 600. I mean, it'd be nice to have that, but everybody's asking for I just need to have my needs met. And we can't even do that in this country. And we piss on and shit on and make fun of and divide even further while all of this is going on, and it's not helping anyone. We got to start listening. We got to start seeing what's really going on, and we got to react to it. We can't just let pornography just go in the school system. That's no. Everybody needs to stand up for that. Either you want that in the school systems because that's what you want your kids to learn, or you need to stand up and say, hell no. Voter IDs. If you want voter IDs and you don't want illegals voting in your election, you need an ID. It's the same reason why you got to drive on the friggin' you have to have a license to drive on the friggin' highway, right? Again, we have all of these things in place, but we say the voter ID is the one we don't want you to have. You got to have all the other ones, but that one you don't want to have, which is by far the most important one. We've lost something in this country, but we're going to get it back. And the reason we're going to get it back is because of you. I've been over this before. This is just another hiccup, but I want people right now to get fired up, get focused, and start to just pay attention. Even if you don't do anything, because the Democrats are going to implode over the next 3 to 4 days, and you're going to start seeing body parts fly in every direction. There are going to be people throwing each other under the bus. AOC has already started it, with basically saying the conversations they're having behind closed doors. You don't think that Obama has his hand in a lot of all of this. There's a lot of hands going inside this. And let's just put it this way. The Karl Roves and the George Bushes of the department, they're trying to find out what's actually going on over in the Democrat camp. They don't care what's happening in Trump's camp, because if you were to watch that convention, that was an entirely different convention than anything we've ever seen, at least anything I've ever seen. They didn't invite the neocons, the Mitt Romneys and the Lindsey Grahams. They didn't get a ticket, because that's not the direction any sane American wants it to go anymore. It's funny, it's like the Republican Party has almost gotten more towards the middle. They become like the left used to be, whereas the left went way so far off the reservation, they're in communistic land. Okay, so everybody shifted to the left. So now you got to pull a little bit to the right just to get everybody back to center. That's the reason why. They spent way too much. They kept doing this shit with solar. Look, solar is not working. It's not energy efficient. We don't have the capacity to make it as energy efficient yet, so it's not a good energy. We need to go back to nuclear and natural gas. I'm sorry, that's another issue for another time. But you need to get yourself out there, get yourself focused, get yourself on an election team, eyes and ears on the ground. You've seen the fiasco. You've seen 2024 so far. It's not even over. We got 3.5, almost 4 months still to go. I can guarantee you it's only going to get crazier. Crazier. So stay with me. thanks guys for checking me out. www.rollmanrevolution.com. If you'd like to friend me or find me, check me out on Getter, Truth Social. I'm on X from time to time there too. I try to avoid Facebook like the plague. But yeah, at David Rollman, you can friend me over there. And, if you'd like to support the channel, there's a support page as well. And I want to just thank everybody thus far who's kind of made this channel grow a little bit. And, I don't get a chance too often to tell you guys I appreciate it. It's, you're doing things on the regular, and you're doing things almost to the point where it feels like it's almost robotic after a while, and you forget why you're doing it in the first place sometimes. And I don't want to do that, because in this whole growing of this channel and the community and everybody else that I've met over the last year, which, I'm very appreciative, very grateful, and I just want to see your life and the lives of this world just get a little bit better. I'm tired of people stomping on the little guy when all the little guy's trying to do is just make ends meet, man. Just the basics meet. Don't want to have to struggle. Tired of the struggle. There's enough suffering in this world. We need to alleviate that for people, and it can be done. It will be done. All right, I will see you guys out there. Hope to talk with you soon. Take care and fight on.